What up guys, Miguel here from Tech. For the past couple of years, Chinese tech giant Huawei has been cementing their feet in the smartphone industry. Dare we say it's even made its way up to the calibers of Apple and Samsung? Huawei's P-series smartphones have established themselves as arguably the best smartphone camera you can buy, for stills at least. When the Huawei P30 series launched, everybody expected something impressive. And impressive is what we got. Introducing the Huawei P30 Pro.
Inside of our embassy, everything we need right here. Make me sing along.
In terms of design, not much has changed since the P20 Pro, and that's not a bad thing. The P30 Pro is a bit taller and thinner compared to the P20 Pro, but overall construction is the same. There are some similarities inherited from the Mate 20 Pro as well, like the curved glass, tapered edges, and in-display fingerprint sensor. But that's about it. In front, we get a dewdrop notch. In it resides the front-facing camera. I'm not gonna dwell on that, the notches have been here a while, so yeah, live with it or not. So the glass display slightly curves towards the edges, giving it better coverage and minimizes the thickness of the bezels. Kinda like what Samsung's been doing for years now. On the right side of the device, you can find your volume rocker and power button. There's an IR blaster up top along with the noise-cancelling mic. At the bottom of the device, you can find the Type-C port, speaker grills, primary mic, and hybrid dual SIM card tray. Again, Huawei's gotten rid of the 3.5mm audio jack on the P30 Pro, which I find weird because the standard P30 gets it, so why does the Pro ditch it? Well, either way, you do get some Type-C earphones in the box. At the back, you have that signature P-series design reminiscent of last year's model. You get a quadruple camera setup on here, 3 of which are stacked together in a vertical format. This is where you can find that periscope lens. The 4th can be found right under the dual-tone, dual-LED flash and phase detection autofocus. You also get some Leica branding on here to assure yourself that this camera system is the shit. Despite its larger size, the P30 Pro is still quite comfortable to hold in the hands. Although it is a bit slippery and it is a fingerprint and smudge magnet, so you might want to use that jelly case that you get included in the box, which has fallen over here. The in-display fingerprint sensor has been moved closer to the chin so it's easier to reach compared to the one of the Mate 20 Pro. Typing or even dialing a number can be a bit of a challenge with one hand, but that's subjective to however big or small your hands are. The P30 Pro is also IP68 dust and water resistant, with wireless charging capabilities and that nifty reverse wireless charging feature that debuted on the Mate 20 series. For display, the P30 Pro gets a 6.47-inch OLED display with a resolution of 2340 by 1080 pixels. I think it's a bit weird as to why Huawei went with a full HD resolution on here. They've been quite conservative, opting for 2K resolution panels compared to their competitors' 4K resolutions. So why is it that on this Pro model, we only get a 1080p resolution? I mean, I get it. Most of us would go into the settings and down-res that resolution to save battery life. But I can't help but feel like Huawei cheaped out on us a little here. Nonetheless, we're still impressed with the quality of the OLED display. The display is bright, details are crisp, and colors look vibrant. The entire display also serves as the earpiece. This is achieved by using vibrations from beneath the display, kinda like bone conduction headphones or like that Bravia TV from Sony, and even the LG G8. Consuming media on the P30 Pro is surprisingly not too bad. You don't get any form of stereo on here, but sound quality is great. It's loud, and I believe because of its size, you don't cover the single downward firing speaker as much when watching something in landscape. But yeah, you can still easily cover it and I guess wreck your experience? For hardware, powering the Huawei P30 Pro is a high silicone Kirin 980 chipset, the same one you can find on the Mate 20 Pro. The P30 Pro also has 2 RAM variants. You can get 8GB of RAM with 128, 256 or 512GB of internal storage, or a 6GB of RAM and 128GB of internal storage. Our unit is the 8GB of RAM, 256GB of internal storage variant. Performing your usual task and productivity tasks can run on this thing with no sweat. The gaming experience is also excellent, especially with performance boost turned on. Check out our benchmark scores. Running all the high-intensive apps and heavy games was not a problem with the P30 Pro. The 8GB of RAM supplies all the needed memory to load up and switch between multiple apps in a jiffy. Putting all graphics settings to the highest levels gave the best results without feeling any hiccups whatsoever. For battery, the P30 Pro is packing a 4200 mAh battery, and we expect it to last even in moderate to heavy usage. Our PC Mark battery test achieved a score of 13 hours and 13 minutes on a single full charge at 50% brightness, 0 volume, and in airplane mode. This is the highest score we have seen in all our Huawei devices we have tested. In our standard video loop test, the phone managed to last 21 hours and 40 minutes of continuous playback under the same conditions. So when the reverse wireless charging was introduced back with the Mate 20 series, I did feel like it was sort of a gimmick. Well, I'm here to tell you that we're starting to think that it actually isn't. We've had several instances where a friend badly needed a quick charge with no power bank in sight. That reverse wireless charging became quite handy. That included 40-watt Huawei supercharge adapter allows the device to charge up to 70% in just half an hour. Although a full charge from 0 to 100 will still need around an hour and 10 minutes to fully complete. That's still a feat considering the large 4200 mAh battery in our opinion. For software, the P30 Pro runs on Android 9 Pie out of the box with EMUI 9.1 skinned on top. By default, there is no app drawer, which means all the apps are clustered in multiple home screens or grouped into folders. You can revert back to the app drawer in the settings if that's what you want. There are also a ton of options to choose from if you want to install a custom theme in the Huawei theme store. You do still get the usual Huawei apps pre-installed on here, including a native health app, optimizer, smart remote, Hi Care, and a phone clone app that we found very useful when switching over from an older phone. If you're already a Huawei user, you should be familiar with some of the gesture shortcuts like a double knock on the screen to take a full screenshot, drawing a pattern for a partial screenshot, and drawing a letter to launch a predefined app. What we really like is the ability to choose a custom navigation bar layout. For cameras, the P30 Pro has a quadruple camera system which is composed of a primary 40-megapixel RYYB sensor with a wide lens, a secondary 20-megapixel ultra-wide, a third 8-megapixel periscope lens which gives you that 5x optical zoom, and a fourth depth-sensing time-of-flight sensor. The P30 Pro has two very impressive camera features that are getting a lot of attention. The first one is the zoom capability. With its 5x optical zoom, the camera can do a hybrid zoom of up to 10x and a digital zoom of up to 50x. That's the farthest zooming capability we have seen on a smartphone camera today. Granted that the 50x is just a digital zoom, the results are still very usable thanks to that Huawei post-processing in combination with the hardware. Check out some sample shots. The second impressive camera feature is that industry-leading night mode. The P30 Pro has an ISO capable of 409,600 when in night mode, and that again, in combination with Huawei's post-processing, practically means that the P30 Pro can see in the dark. Check out these night mode samples. On the video side of things, you're able to shoot in 4K at 30 frames per second, Full HD at 30 and 60 frames per second, and HD at 30 frames per second. Here are some sample shots we took from France and Germany during the Huawei trip.
Watch me dancing in the colors, lightning, blowing up a thunder, wash it over me. We got everything we need right.
Conclusion time. I think Huawei tried really hard to impress us. And impress us, they did. The P30 Pro exceeded our expectations, especially in smartphone photography. It's huge in almost every aspect like the performance, camera, battery, and even charging technology. If we had to nitpick, we can only think of the screen resolution to have been bumped up to 2K at the very least. But that's probably it. Everything else is what we expected it to be, and in some aspects exceeded our expectations. It's truly a powerful and great phone overall. Locally, the Huawei P30 Pro is priced at 50,990 pesos. So yeah, that was a review of the Huawei P30 Pro. What did you guys think of Huawei's P-series flagship? Let us know in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to smack that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and hit that bell icon so you get notified of our future uploads. Be sure to visit yugatech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. Again, this has been Miguel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!